What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and big game tomorrow, Everton against Leicester. Um, it's an absolute must-win, isn't it? We keep saying it. We go over these games over and over again, and this is as much win as it gets. Really, we've got a 3-point advantage over Burnley. We've got this game. We've got 2 games in hand on the teams above us as well. Everton need to be getting results. It's as simple as that. And unfortunately, we've had these moments where we've needed to pick up the results. I.e., playing Wolves at home and playing against a decent Newcastle side. And we needed 6 points out of those games, and we managed to get 3. And albeit that was in a 99th minute winner. So this game is huge because it does give us that advantage to get that 6-point gap. And going into a Merseyside derby, look, I don't expect anything from that game. You'll see me live on DR Sports. And then after that, we've got a home game against Chelsea. So these games aren't easy for Everton. These games are difficult. 3 games against teams that, have all been in the top 4 in the last 3 years or 4 years. You've got the FA Cup winners from last season. You've got Champions League and title winners over the last couple of years midweek, and you've got Chelsea who were Champions League winners last season. So massively difficult games. And if Everton can come out of these games with essentially a shred of dignity, points, you're talking, I think if Everton can pull 4 points out of these next 3 games, I think we're safe. With the fixtures we've then got, I think we're safe. We've got Palace at home. We've got Brentford at home. Tough games, but you'd expect Everton to win. Watford away. That's going to be an opportunity for Everton to go away and get 3 points. We've only picked up 6 points away from home this season, so massive. So this Leicester game is crucial, in my opinion. And, I think they're without Jamie Vardy, which, again, always seems to score against Everton. So that, again, massive for us. And Everton are welcoming back some of their perceived big guns. Yerry Mina's back in the side, or at least back on the bench. Massive positive. You've then got the fact that Fabian Delph had such a good performance. Alan, the midfield's looking a little bit more stable all of a sudden. Then you go forward, Calvert-Lewin's back, albeit he didn't offer loads against Manchester United. I like to think at some point we are going to see the Calvert-Lewin that we once saw. Richarlison had the bit between his teeth. Anthony Gordon, Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray seems right up for it, which is good to see. So, look, all in all, I think it's a game that Everton have got to go into with a bit of confidence and show what we're capable of doing. It's tough. It's tough. Leicester's away record isn't fantastic. It's not. I think they're about 13th in the league. Let me just double check that. I don't want to. It's 15th in the league. They've only picked up 13 points away from home this season. To put that in perspective, Newcastle, Southampton, Watford, all have picked up 13, 14, 15 points all around them. So Leicester have only won 3 away. It's big. It's a big game for Everton, and it's a game that you just sort of hope that we can go and get 3 points in. It's a game where if you can win with a little bit of confidence, we can take that into the Merseyside derby. And look, I don't expect to beat Liverpool, and I don't really expect the points, but if we could go in there with a little bit of confidence, like to think that we won't get absolutely torn to pieces, then you take it almost. And it's horrible to say that, but you probably do. So massive. And the way that Everton are going to beat them, we've got to be solid at the back. We know that. They've got pace. They've got Daka, who we know is quick, he's rapid. So if he starts, causes problems. Iheanacho, problems. Harvey Barnes, problems. You're then talking about James Maddison, the maestro in the middle, who, to be honest, I thought had gone off the boil. I thought we'd seen the last of James Maddison in the perceived quality young English midfielder. I thought he was sort of coming off the boil and just going to be one of them players that was probably destined to be a decent player, but not hit the heights that maybe some of us expected. And then all of a sudden he's come back with a bit of a bang over the last few months, and he looks close to the player that he once was maybe 2 seasons ago. So you've got to be wary of him. And then they've got the pace on the wings. They've got the defensive players that are more than capable of doing sound jobs. You've got goals in that side. You've got defensive players in terms of in the middle. They've got a good goalkeeper and a leader. They haven't really got many weak spots, Leicester. You know, if you look through their team, James Justin, Wesley Fofana, Soyuncu, Evans, Pereira, Vestergaard, Castagna, Luke Thomas, I mean, he's playing. Then in midfield, Barnes, Tillemans, Maddison. Even Drewsbury Hall has been playing well when he's came in. And Didi, Samir. These players are all very, very good players. And then they've got that sprinkling of quality with Vardy and Acho. Ademola Lookman, who got a goal the weekend in that defeat to Newcastle. And Daka. So they've got pace. They've got quality. They've got skill. They've got a little bit of everything. And, you know, Everton just need to be nice and tight. They've scored more goals than us this season. And they've actually conceded, which is surprising. They've conceded 50 goals this season, Leicester. And to put that in perspective, Everton themselves have conceded 52. So we've only conceded 2 more goals than Leicester this season. So, you know, it has been a season where their attackers have got them out of trouble at times. And, you know, they've conceded more goals than Burnley, who are below us. They've conceded as many goals as teams like Norwich. No, not Norwich, sorry. Not Norwich. Teams like Southampton. So it's a tough game. It's a very tough game. But it is a game that I have this little bit of confidence going into. I think the home form, I think us as fans will make it loud and aggressive. And you just like to think that, you know, if we can get those 3 points and get that little bit of a gap, I do think that'll be massive. And look, it's not easy. As I say, we've got this game in hand over Burnley. We win. We're legitimately on 31 points. They're on 25. Watford are on 22. Norwich are on 21. And then you've got Leeds just above us on 33. And Villa, who, by the way, they've not had a great time, have they? I mean, they've only conceded one. They've only lost one less game than us this season. So that's quite surprising, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it's a big game. It's a big game. And then, you know, if you look at Burnley's fixtures after that, the games at Burnley, you know, probably expect to win, because Burnley, you know, we play a tough game against Leicester. Burnley are at home to Southampton on Thursday. Then Sunday, 2:00 kickoff, they play at home to Wolves. If they get 6 points in those 2 games, which they're more than capable of doing, you're talking big problems. You're genuinely talking big problems. So Everton have got to have that gap. It's an absolute must-win. Because in my mind, in my opinion, you have to bank on Burnley winning their games. Because if they win their games, you expect them to win. I expect them to beat Southampton at home. I expect them to get a point at home against Wolves. Wolves are very good away. Obviously, they beat us 1-0. But Wolves are good away. And I don't necessarily think they've got loads to play for at this point. So you'd probably argue that Wolves are probably going to take the foot off the gas. So you're thinking, okay, so they might not quite do 3 points, but I don't think Burnley are going to be good enough to beat Wolves. So there's a point. So I'm expecting Burnley to pick up 4 points in the next 2 games, and I'm expecting Everton to pick up 4 in the next 3. We need that gap. Then they've got games away at Watford, at home to Villa, and away at Spurs. And again, I don't think they beat Spurs. I think they probably beat Villa. And Watford's a toss-up. So Burnley have got fixtures they can win. And I certainly don't think they'll finish on the, 4 wins this season they've got, or whatever it is. How many wins is it? Yeah, 4 wins. I think they'll certainly finish on probably 6 or 7. And Everton have to, as a result, win another 3-4 games of football. Bearing in mind, we only picked up 14 points in 20-odd games or whatever it was. It's worrying. So, big game. Big game. And I want to see a big game from Charlison. I think we need it. I think he could do with another good goal. I was really happy with Gordon against United. Ran his socks off. Got his goal, albeit a deflection, but that's free for the season for Gordon, so you take that. And then the substitutions, the whole squad is stronger. All of a sudden, Donny van der Beek is back. So is he going to be on the bench? Will he start? Personally, I'd put him on the bench. I thought Delph and Allen were really good together, and they would be my centre too. So I'd go with that, maybe in front of them. I would probably, and I can't believe I'm starting to say this, but I'd go Alex Iwobi because I thought he did really well carrying that ball and that fight to Manchester United. And we need exactly the same in against that Leicester side who are prepared to battle and aggressive in the middle of the park. We need his strength. So yeah, I mean, fundamentally, the only change I make is anyone for Yerry Mina. I want my centre two pairing to be Godfrey and Mina. So if you drop Holgate, you drop Keane, I'm not bothered. The two I want is Mina and Godfrey. Left back will be Mikalenko, who all of a sudden is looking like the player that we wanted to sign. He's looking decent defensively, prepared to get forward and put balls into the box. Did it against Manchester United several times. So all for that. And Leicester will leave space in behind to do that, by the way. They will allow our fullbacks to get in behind their fullbacks because they'll be so far up the pitch. So that's a positive. That's a chance. Then Coleman on the right-hand side. For obvious, Nathan Patterson is injured. We haven't seen him all season. John Joe Kenny, he shouldn't, in my opinion, shouldn't be getting offered a new deal. But is what it is. If he is being offered a new deal, it's all hearsay and rumours at the minute. Then you go into midfield and, as I say, Alan and Delph for me. That little bit of robustness in the middle of the park, bit of guile, and that little bit of grit. That's what Delph has brought in. At times over the period that we've had Fabian Delph, he's had this persona that he just doesn't give a toss. Arguing with fans, etc. And I'll never really forgive him for that. But what I did see against Manchester United was a player that was prepared to roll his sleeves up, prepared to get dirty, prepared to get stuck in, prepared to battle. That's exactly what Everton need right now. So his experience, his guile, his grit, alongside the energy of Alan and the quality that Alan has on that little moment of skill, that little bit of brilliance, that little pass. He's got that. Alan's got that. He's prepared to carry the ball. He's a clever player. So for me, them two in the middle. He won't be just in front of them. And then I do go with Damari Gray, Richarlison and Anthony Gordon. And you're all saying, where's Calvert-Lewin? I just don't feel like he offered enough. I don't feel like he offered enough against Manchester United. And when you're going into games that are genuinely must win, I think you need 11 players on the pitch who are performing at that level. Look, if Damari Gray doesn't start and Calvert-Lewin does, fine. But I think Damari Gray will have a point to prove. And I'm very passionate about people that have points to prove. Damari will, against the Leicester side where he never 100% cut it. He had his moments, but he didn't hit the heights that were expected of him when he got that big move to Leicester. So yeah, for me, I just start him. I think Richarlison will be a pain in the arse. I think the three of them can interchange. I think Anthony Gordon is undroppable at the minute. And then look at the bench. Look at the bench that Everton have all of a sudden got. They've got an experienced goalkeeper in Begovic. They've got defenders in Holgate, Michael Keane. They've got Donny van der Beek, Dele Alli. They've got a little bit of quality. And I'm not saying that Holgate and Keane are, but I would argue that most Premier League teams don't have a player on the bench who has made as many appearances as first choices in the past. 3 years ago, I would have put Mason Holgate as our first choice centre half. I probably 4 years ago would have done exactly the same with Michael Keane. And they've sort of fell off the planet a little bit, but they come on and they can shore up the side, make it 5 at the back, make it 6 at the back if you have to, whatever. But it's a better option. We've also got Branthwaite, who is fantastic. I mean, this kid, he can't be overrated. Like he can't be. This kid has got it. But I have also said that about Mason Holgate. I said it about John Stones. I've said it about Ben Godfrey. I don't want to over-egg the kid, but I just think he's got something. So you've got that on the bench. You've got, albeit Solomon Rondon, you've got a little bit of Premier League experience. What I'm saying is we're not playing kids. And although I've absolutely got all the time in the world for kids, and I've been screaming to see more of them in our side and playing, the Onyangos and some of the lads, the Dobbins, for example, who have, shown glimpses of quality when they've been in and around the first team. If they're not going to get that game time, at least have your strongest possible first team available for selection. And we're almost there. You've then also got Calvert-Lewin on the bench, who, up until this season, well, in his first 3 games this season, scored 3 goals. Last season, I think he finished on 19 goals in all competitions. The season before, he finished on 15 Premier League goals. People have said he's a one-season wonder. I'm not saying he's not a one-season wonder, but I am saying that when he has his moments, he seems to have them in a bit of a run. So, he comes off the bench, scores a goal, makes it 2-0 or 3-0 or 3-1 or whatever. All of a sudden you're thinking, well, can he go into the Anfield derby? Can he go into Liverpool and cause Van Dijk issues? Can he cause Matic problems? Canate, whoever it is. Can we launch the ball up to him and he's going to be solid as a rock up top? Look, he's probably not. But a player with confidence is better than a player on the floor. And I would argue that he's on the floor at the minute. So, look, lots to take in and out of this game, depending on the result. And I'll be at the ground. I'm sitting in the park end. Anyone wants to come over and say hello to me, by all means, come over. I'll be in the hub, probably from about 5:30. And yeah, guys, be lovely to see you all. Remember, keep smiling. It's a tough slog. And touch wood. If we get 3 points tomorrow, touch wood, we're just creeping in the right direction. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Keep smiling. Up toughies. Peace.